How to ask for more because you deserve it. Let's face it, many times you don't get what you deserve. You get what you have the guts to ask for. Closed mouths don't get fed, they get overlooked. Let's be real, you're sitting on the sidelines of your own life, hoping someone will notice your worth and hand you what you deserve without you having to ask for it. But here's what no one tells you. The world doesn't owe you recognition, fairness, or opportunities. Do you find yourself hoping your boss will notice your hard work and offer you a raise? Do you drop hints about what you need instead of stating it directly? Do you believe that asking for what you want makes you selfish, demanding, or ungrateful? You've been lied to about how value is recognized and rewarded. Hoping and hinting don't create change. Asking does. Today, we're teaching you how to advocate for yourself like your life depends on it, because professionally and personally it does. We're covering 5 game changers. First, understanding the silent tax you pay for playing small. Second, how to ask for things like you mean it. Third, destroying the I'm not enough narrative that's keeping you stuck. Fourth, reframing rejection as redirection, not devastation. And fifth, starting where you are instead of waiting for courage to strike. 1. The silent tax of playing small. Staying quiet is more expensive than rejection. Here's something that might sting. Every time you don't speak up for yourself, you pay a tax in lost income, diminished peace of mind, and eroded self-respect. Staying quiet to avoid discomfort ends up costing way more than the temporary discomfort of speaking up. When you don't ask or throw the raise you deserve, you're not just missing out on money, you're missing out on the financial security, opportunities, and respect that come with fair compensation. When you don't set boundaries with people who drain your energy, you're not just keeping the peace, you're sacrificing your mental health for their comfort. When you don't advocate for your ideas at work, you're not being humble, you're being invisible. Someone else will speak up, get credit for similar ideas, and advance while you wonder why you're always overlooked. Playing small doesn't protect you from disappointment. It guarantees it. The silent tax compounds over time. The raise you didn't ask for 5 years ago affects your entire earning trajectory. The boundary you didn't set continues to be crossed. The opportunity you didn't pursue goes to someone who was willing to advocate for themselves. Most people convince themselves that their worth will eventually be recognized without them having to point it out. They believe that good work speaks for itself. But in a world where everyone is focused on their own priorities, your worth only speaks as loud as you're willing to speak for it. The cost of asking is usually temporary embarrassment or a no that puts you exactly where you already are. The cost of not asking is permanent regret and missed opportunities that compound over years. 2. How to ask like you mean it. Clarity plus confidence equals credibility. Time to upgrade your communication from hinting to stating. Whether you're asking for a raise, setting a boundary, or pursuing an opportunity, the formula is simple. Clarity plus confidence equals credibility. Stop hinting and start stating what you actually want. Hinting sounds like, I've been here a while and I feel like maybe it's time to discuss my compensation. Stating sounds like, I'd like to schedule a meeting to discuss a salary increase based on my performance and expanded responsibilities. Hinting sounds like, I'm feeling a little overwhelmed lately. Stating sounds like, I need you to handle dinner on Tuesdays and Thursdays so I can attend my evening classes. The difference is specificity and confidence. When you hint, you're essentially asking the other person to guess what you need and decide whether you deserve it. When you state clearly, you're presenting a specific request that requires a specific response. Prepare your ask before you make it. Know exactly what you want, why you deserve it, and what value you bring to the situation. Practice saying it out loud until it feels natural instead of apologetic. Your tone should convey that you believe in your request, not that you're asking for a favor. Time your ask strategically. Don't ambush people when they're stressed or distracted. Don't make important requests during casual conversations. Schedule dedicated time for important discussions so both parties can engage fully. Follow up appropriately. If you don't get an immediate answer, say when you can expect one. If you get a no, ask what would need to change for the answer to be yes. Don't just accept rejection without understanding the reasoning or exploring alternatives. 3. Destroy the "I'm not enough" narrative. That voice is lying and keeping you small. Let's address the internal saboteur that convinces you you're asking for too much, that you haven't earned it yet, that other people are more deserving. That voice in your head saying you're not ready, not qualified, not worthy enough to ask for what you want. It's lying. And it's keeping you broke, burned out, and boxed into a smaller life than you deserve. The not enough narrative shows up in different ways for different people. I haven't been here long enough. I don't have enough experience. I'm not smart enough. Other people need it more. I should be grateful for what I have. These thoughts feel protective, but they're actually prison walls. This narrative isn't based on reality. It's based on fear. Fear of rejection, fear of being seen as greedy or demanding, fear of standing out, fear of having to live up to higher expectations. But here's the thing. You're already living with the consequences of not asking. You're already dealing with the disappointment of being overlooked. Challenge the voice by asking for evidence. What proof do you have that you're not qualified? What evidence suggests that you don't deserve what you're asking for? Often, you'll discover that your internal critic is basing its judgment on outdated information or other people's limitations. Replace "I'm not enough" with "I'm enough to start." You don't have to be perfect to deserve better treatment. You don't have to be the most qualified person in the room to ask for opportunities. You just have to be willing to advocate for yourself and back up your request with value. Remember that other people's comfort with your smallness is not more important than your growth. When you play small to make others comfortable, you're not being kind. You're being complicit in your own diminishment. 4. Rejection isn't death. It's redirection, not a verdict on your value. Here's the fear that stops most people from asking for what they want: the possibility of hearing rejection. But let's reframe rejection from devastating verdict to valuable information. When someone says no to your request, they're not saying no to your worth as a human being. They're saying no to a specific ask in a specific context. Rejection gives you data. Maybe your timing was off. Maybe you asked the wrong person. Maybe you didn't present enough value to justify your request. Maybe the resources simply aren't available right now. This information helps you refine your approach for next time. Rejection also builds resilience. Every no you survive proves that rejection isn't actually dangerous. You don't die from hearing no. You don't lose your worth. You don't become less deserving. You just have more information about this particular situation. Often rejection is redirection towards something better. The job that didn't work out leads to the one that's perfect for you. The relationship that ended makes space for the relationship that fulfills you. The opportunity that fell through pushes you to create something even better. Brené Brown said it perfectly. Vulnerability sounds like truth and feels like courage. Truth and courage aren't always comfortable, but they're never weakness. When you ask for what you want, you're being vulnerable, truthful, and courageous. The outcome doesn't change the courage it took to ask. Stop making rejection mean more than it means. It's not a character assessment. It's not a permanent condition. It's not evidence that you should stop asking for things. It's just information about this particular request in this particular moment. 5. Start where you are. Ask for small things to build big courage. You don't have to start with the biggest, scariest ask. Start where you are with what feels manageable and let each small act of advocacy build your confidence for bigger requests. Action creates courage more reliably than courage creates action. Ask for a deadline when someone gives you a vague timeline. Ask for clarification when instructions aren't clear. And ask for help when you're struggling with something. Ask for space when you need time to think. These small asks build the muscle of self-advocacy without high stakes. Practice with low-risk situations first. Ask for a table by the window at a restaurant. Ask for a discount at a store. Ask for an extra sauce packet at a fast food place. These interactions teach you that asking for things is normal, not presumptuous. Notice that most people are happy to help when you ask directly and politely. Notice that the world doesn't end when someone says no to a small request. Notice that you feel more empowered when you advocate for yourself instead of just accepting whatever you're given. Build up to bigger asks gradually. Once you're comfortable asking for small things, try medium-sized requests. Ask for feedback on your work. Ask for consideration for a project you're interested in. Ask for a meeting to discuss your professional development. The goal isn't to become demanding or entitled. The goal is to become comfortable stating your needs, wants, and boundaries clearly instead of hoping other people will guess what you need and give it to you voluntarily. All right, time for some tough love. Stop being the discount version of yourself to keep the peace. You're not here to be liked. You're here to be respected. And that starts with how you treat your own voice. You think you're being modest by not asking for what you deserve, but you're actually being dishonest. You think you're being considerate by not advocating for yourself, but you're actually being passive-aggressive. You think you're being grateful by accepting less than you're worth, but you're actually being complicit in your own undervaluation. Your silence isn't protecting anyone. It's not making other people more comfortable. It's not proving that you're a good person. It's just ensuring that your needs go unmet while you build resentment toward people who had no idea what you wanted. The people who get what they want in life aren't necessarily more deserving than you. They're just more willing to ask for it. They're not more qualified, more talented, or more worthy. They're just less afraid of hearing no. Your worth doesn't decrease when someone rejects your request. Your value doesn't diminish when you advocate for yourself. Your character doesn't suffer when you ask for what you need. Stop waiting for someone to notice your worth and volunteer to give you what you deserve. Start advocating for yourself like your future depends on it, because it does. Here's your challenge for this week. Send the email, make the phone call, schedule the meeting, say the thing you've been thinking but haven't been saying. You don't need another sign from the universe. You don't need to feel more confident first. You don't need permission from anyone else. You need to speak the hell up and ask for what you want. Your voice is your power. Use it like you mean it. If this video reminded you that closed mouths don't get fed, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We're building a community of people who advocate for themselves instead of hoping someone else will do it for them. Share this with someone who's been playing small and hoping to be discovered. Sometimes we all need a reminder that our worth only speaks as loud as we're willing to speak for it. Remember, you're not broken. You're untrained in the art of self-advocacy and the skills of asking clearly, confidently, and courageously can be developed starting with your next request. Until next time, stop being the discount version of yourself and start asking for what you're actually worth.